Hello, my name is Loyal Kill. This is my sophomore year, my third semester in Handong, and my second semester in ISU. Last semester I was in political affairs department, but then this time around I am as media and promotion department leader.
Hello, I'm Tomokazu, and I'm from Japan, and this is my seventh semester, fourth year in Handong Global University. And my current position in ISU is General Affairs Leader.
My name is Urka, but everyone around me calls me Urka, and I am serving as the 2026 ISU President for this year. And yes, my majors are UIL and Counseling Psychology. And so far, my majors and the things that I've learned have been a very good contribution to the works that I have done in ISU. Yes.
My name is Scott Lincoln. I'm a professor at Handong Global University. I've been here nearly 22 years now, and I've been the faculty advisor for the International Student Union since it began. The International Student Union, it began as an advocate group for the international students who felt that they were such a small minority on the campus and people really didn't understand their perspective. So they found it difficult to have their voices heard when there were particular needs that international students faced that other students, the Korean native students might not. So they joined together and asked me to join as well so that they could feel like their needs were being heard and make some changes at Handong, make it a more global university.
My major is design, and I was taking one course. I won't mention the class, like the name of the class, but it said that it's 100% English class. But the problem was, I was the only international student in that classroom. We had some other Korean students from Carmichael, so they were like really fluent in English, but also in Korean. And I think it's because my facial expression as well, but I'm Japanese. I look pretty similar to Korean students as well. So when professors saw like everybody in the classroom, professors thought that, oh, everybody's Korean, maybe I could teach in Korean. So like the professor started to do the lecture, like orientation in Korean. And so after the class ended, professor was like, okay, thank you so much, I'm so glad I could teach in Korean. But like as soon as the class ended, me and my friend, like we went to the professor together and told that, oh, sorry, I'm international. Like I don't understand Korean at all. Because I was still in my sophomore year. I really struggled with Korean language, especially. So I was also struggling with English, but especially with Korean. So that was really hard for me as well, because I was also struggling with my midterms. Yeah. I think that's one episode that I could share.
Luckily, global management has like English class guidelines actually that we publish for the students that talk about how what an 100% English class is defined to be, and they're pretty strict rules.
Wow.
So so we're the only major I think that actually has those guidelines. But there are Korean professors from other majors who've asked me to send those guidelines to them. So I know some of the Korean professors are interested in what a 100% English class should look like and what the definition should be. So we need to have a broader conversation with the university as a whole about that so that everyone is on the same page, I think.
I think because of God's goodness, I've had it easy. And because my first major is UIL, it's all completely in English because it's US law and international law. It has to be studied in English. For counseling psychology, there are a lack of 100% English classes, which is something that I kind of have to, struggle with and find the right classes to take at the right timing, or else I will not be graduate within my eight semester limit. So I think that is always kind of not like a daily struggle, but holistically it kind of gives you that pressure to always be on the lookout, and it also increases competition for within international students to kind of fight for those 100% English classes, because there's a quota, and especially for the counseling psychology major, the quota is pretty small. And there are very few professors who are willing to teach in English as well. Like education-wise and English classes-wise, that's the struggle, but I don't really see it as a struggle. I just see it as something to overcome, something to like grow beyond, above. The actual real struggle for me was in like during my freshman year, visa information, immigration things, just because it's not because, you know, the rules are unclear, but it's because we don't know and we're doing it all for the first time, and it's all really scary because you don't know how deep the water is unless you like go into it, and then you kind of just have to struggle with it, and they don't know the purpose of why we have the ARC. And they don't realize that that is our visa in this country as well. And so like even from like minor facts as that, because it's just assumed to be like known fact of life. Like you should know, like how do you not know? Because it's all just, you know, we don't talk about these things. So I think that for me was a very big struggle. And also not being a like legal adult and not having a phone number, I think that is one of the biggest struggles beyond English classes, in my opinion. That's a higher issue and a higher problem. Like, that is really, really hard because you can't even do banking.
Right.
You can't do banking. Every time you want to do a transfer, you have to go to the local branch. Like, what do you mean, you know? So, yeah, I think that is something that is very daily and very practical. You can't call your friends. You have no cellular data. You always have to be logging into public Wi-Fi. And yeah, and then also just navigating like physical locations where, okay, where can I study? Where can I eat? And like, because you're like alone during that, I guess, for the first month of being in Korea, you try to, it's really awkward. And you feel like you're doing things wrong. But yeah, I think having someone there really helps. I think.
As for me, I mean, I'm an international student because I studied basically my whole life in Mexico, but then I can still speak like fluent and understand and speak and write everything Korean as well. So so it's not like a struggle that I like actually experienced because I do understand Korean. But then, for example, the example that you guys mentioned about the classes like not being, I mean, they supposedly are 100% in English, but then I've been also in class, and I'm actually in one of those classes, like 100% English, but then the professor was like, oh, everyone's Korean. We'll talk in Korean. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't see the problem because I also understand, it's okay. But then that shouldn't really be a thing because as professor said, like it's not really, it is, like I just said, like it came first for the Korean students. So even though it's like a house full of Korean students, it should be taught in English, right? But putting the academic stuff aside, the other things that I've been able to notice are some school events, actually more than we probably think or notice, they're done in Korean and they don't support English translations. And if they do, it's either very underprepared translations, or two, the translating devices are very outdated, I would say. And although there isn't like a live translation going on, you cannot really understand anything because like, and, you know, so it's like there's no point in having the translations. And that kind of thing happens in like big events where they use the devices. And if not, like sometimes they don't have translations at all. And I see so many like events that the school holds, or like some like departments from the departments hold, the school department hold, that I'm like, wait, like it's so sad that international students or like students that cannot understand Korean have to miss out on this just because they cannot understand Korean. Like, so I think that's also one of the things. Like putting aside all the SIM card, phone numbers, banking stuff, like.
I can't think of the name of it, but what's like the flea market? Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So that's something that ISU was able to do that met a real need, especially for exchange students. So I know that exchange students, they're coming in for one semester, but they need blankets and they need this and that and they need these various things. But then after they're going, they don't want to take them with them. So what do we do with these things? So ISU started that kind of flea market thing where they could, where it was easy to drop off stuff you didn't need before you left, and then somebody else was going to get good use out of it when they came in, and it was an easy place for everybody to go and find all those kind of necessities that are really hard, but then you don't want to have to buy them brand new every time. Right. If other people had them, then that was but the exchange students from one semester to the next aren't going to meet each other because there's a whole break in between. So ISU was a good clearinghouse for that kind of stuff, where it could collect all those things at the end of a semester, and then when the new semester began, redistribute all those things to meet those needs for people who are coming in from different places. So I thought that was a really good program that ISU started. That was a really good way to bridge that gap of that one, the break, where it was a constant need that everybody had, and it was just an ongoing thing. But then ISU found a way to smooth that over and fix that problem.
Yes, I agree with that point. And also, like, I was the one who organized like flea market this semester. Yes, even though I really struggled, but still I really, to be honest, I kind of enjoyed the process where I was like cleaning up and organizing, and I was really grateful that I'm doing this for people that really needs this. So like
that's such a blessing to so many people. Yeah,
exactly. So. I felt so blessed. Like I'm actually doing something for people, and that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to join ISU. So I was really grateful at that moment.
So I think because now I'm like 4 months into presidency, but before that I was in political affairs department for an entire year. We did public hearing twice after it had been gone for like 3 years, and it went really well. The first time we did it last spring, it went really well. A lot of people came, and we, I think, got a great amount of attention from the school, so much so that they were concerned when they heard that we were doing a second public hearing. So they kind of wanted to be like, could you give us a heads up about exactly what you're going to talk about and such. But I think that in itself created a lot of awareness to the school and to the higher ups of exactly like the minor details that, international students struggle with. And I think ISU, we cannot create more English classes. We're not the school. But we can do something towards that, and we can be real advocates for the voices. Not to go to war for anything, because there's no reason to be so aggressive about it, but to really put it out there and then put our efforts into making it clear and for the school to hear us. So yes, with both of the public hearings, the first one, it raised a lot of awareness to the school. And I think it also started, more conversations within our international communities about, I'm not the only one who feels this way. And then they get to talk more about it. They get to see it as a real issue, see it as something we can do something about. Yes. And for the second public hearing, I think it, although we did it for the same purpose, I think we yielded a bit of a different version of the results, where I think because the school was more prepared for it and they were more careful with their answers, and they wanted to communicate with the internationals as well and convey their message onto to our ears, what they have to say. I think that was kind of also eye-opening for us as international students as well, where the school is standing and what they are able to provide for us currently and what we are, is not yet. So I think that it provided a two-way communication for doing the public hearing twice in 1 year. Yeah, so in that way, ISU Bridging the Gap was really impactful for me to see as an international student as well.
Well, I think it did make a difference. I mean, in the first hearing, the vice president of academic affairs was really shocked to hear how many people were having difficulties with 100% English classes. And she told everyone, email me directly if you're having this problem. That she really took that upon herself to say, hey, I didn't realize this was such a big problem. If you're having that trouble, that shouldn't be happening. Email me and I'll take care of it. So there is the willingness at the higher ups to say, we need to make a definition about what this is, and we need to make this work. So I think there is the willingness there, but people just aren't aware a lot of times. Like some people just said, oh, that's really shocking, I hadn't heard about that. Right. So I think that's something that ISU is really good at, is helping the international students' voices be heard by the administration, so that the problems that they're facing can be addressed and brought to the surface. That it's not just one person or an irregular thing, but then if a bunch of people are having the same problem, we can bring that to the administration and make it heard and get it addressed. Yeah.
So, like ICU's main vision is like the communication to the for the international students, like through the public hearing, for example. And actually, I was in political affairs with Urka last semester as members as well, and it was quite interesting for me to see because it was my first public hearing actually. The earlier spring semester I could not attend because I had other appointments. But then when I was there, I thought public hearing was more of a students just asking or just saying their opinions about some kind of issue that they had. But then I also realized that it was more of a space in which the higher ups and the international students can communicate and also go through misunderstandings. Because there are also, I realized that a lot of questions, not everything, but a lot of questions that we had, they were already working on it, or it was something that has been already done that we just didn't notice, or it just went just quickly went through our minds, and so it's like eye-opening, I would say. In that sense, I would say ISU's main vision is for the students to be seen by the school, but then on the other hand, we also want to help. It's like students, and then ISU, and then school. I would say so. We're there to put a channel through school and students, but then we're also there to help the students, international students, for example, through the flea market that was mentioned earlier. So I would say my personal vision, or what I think ISU's vision could be, or it is for ISU to be felt as like a shield, but then also as a comfort place for students to seek upon if they need anything. So whether they want to have more communication going through with Korean students, or whether they need some medical bills, help with the medical bills, or they want to raise their voices, for them to be able to, the first thing that pops up through their mind when they think of, I need help of something, to be ISU. I think that would be something that I would love to see, to be honest. Yeah. But we don't know how it will turn out later, because it really would depend on the future members as well,
right?
And how the interactions keep going. But I would say we're doing great. We've been, of course, we've made mistakes, but then we learn from them, and we don't stay there with the mistakes. So, I think that's, I would say, a vision for me.
Yeah. I guess my vision of ISU has always been that it's a leadership discipleship program. So Handong's motto is, why not change the world? But not all Handong students are going to change the world, I think. But when people ask me, which Handong students do I really believe are going to change the world, I always say it's the ISU students. Because I think when people come into ISU, they have that heart that I want to really make a difference and I want to really change things. And we have such a good leadership system, I think, in ISU, and that people can come in as a member and then have a department head that's maybe been there and done some of this and has been there, and then can rise up to like leadership positions. And so after being in ISU, you see so many people that go off and become team leaders or freshman helpers or heads of ministries or different things. Like, so many of them are former ISU people or current ISU people who go out there. So I think that's a real legacy that ISU has, is to be that place where people learn to be a leader and learn what it takes to change the world, and then they get that confidence to go out and really make a difference and to volunteer to be leaders, even if they don't feel, because a lot of people, when I'm trying to find a team leader, people or a freshman helper, they say, oh yeah, maybe in the future, but I'm not ready now, and I don't, they lack that confidence. But after going through ISU and actually practicing, changing the world and planning events and doing these kinds of things, that's a real confidence booster. I mean, and especially the Festival of Nations, which is such a huge event. Yes. That when people pull that off, they start to realize, hey, I can really do these kinds of things. They get a lot of confidence out of that that this is a huge event, but we pulled it off and it was really great and everybody loved it. And that shows them the power that they have, that when they put their mind to it and they have a team together and everybody works together, that they can do big things. So I think that's a really momentous thing to learn while you're still very young. That working and being part of a team like that can be like such a great thing, and you can actually accomplish so much when you really put your mind to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big legacy of ISU.
Yeah. I think from that, it's like they exercise the muscle of being willing and being open and being, flexible and being understanding and being also patient. And I think all of those things, it reflects the characteristics that like God wants us to have as well. And so in that way, actually a few days back, I was looking at the theme verse of ISU, and it's Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. And Isaiah says, here I am, send me. But if you look at the context of the passage, Isaiah is actually commissioned to do something really difficult, and it's not at all pleasing, and it's he's called to keep the eyes and the ears of Israel like shut so that they don't turn and be saved, because that's just how just God is. But the difference we have, I think, is that now we have Christ with us. That was before Christ. And so I was trying to figure out why the earlier leaders of ISU would choose this verse. Was it just because it's idealistically sounds nice, here I am, send me, or what is the real meaning behind this, and why is this still linked to ISU in the way that it is? And so I kind of did a deeper dive, and I tried to find out why. And what I found was that, it will be difficult for us as ISU members as big things approach. And, as you said, Festival of Nations. But the big mark right before Festival of Nations is basketball tournament for this semester. And as much as we kind of want to pull it off and give, our best to it, I saw that it was really important to reflect on why we joined ISU in the first place. Because Isaiah, in the same way that he wasn't, aware of what God had planned for him, God just asked him, okay, who will go for us and whom shall I send? And Isaiah, not knowing what was waiting, in front of him, what he would be called to do and how difficult that journey would be, he said, I am willing and I am ready to go. Here I am. I'm present. Use me for your purposes. And I feel like that is the same, like commitment and the same heart we have. That's the exact, like reason why we're in ISU. And I think that in itself is what drives the vision. And so we could have many different types of visions for ISU. I feel like every presidency comes in with their own visions and every own directions, but ultimately it's God who brings us to this place to do His will on earth. And it does, even if ISU's works don't get recognized the way that other people, for example, like our friends. Yesterday, someone told me like, "Oh, I wish the school could provide scholarships for ISU students for how much they're working or something." But I said to him, "Oh, for me, I don't see it that way because I know I'm storing up treasures in heaven, and so in that way, that is why we're here because we know we're called to be here, and." We will give our best and we will always strive to bridge the gap because there are many different gaps to bridge. And I think God reveals that to us in, different seasons. Exactly, okay, maybe, you should focus on this during this time. Maybe focus on, international students or within ISU or within the Koreans and the internationals or within the school and the, international students. There's a lot of things we can focus on, but when we focus on Christ and when we focus on why we're doing this, it all works out. And I think that is why, I'm here, and that is why we're all here in this place, because we've decided to submit our, 1 semester or, 22 years. Yeah, so in that way, that is where our vision comes from. So we can make any vision and we can make different missions, different goals, but as long as we keep what is most important and remember that, I said, here I am, send me, and let me be faithful to what I said in the beginning, and let me keep that, fire going, then everything works out, yeah, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, yeah.
I think just going with the very last, one of the quotes that always hits me, it's when Professor says about how when somebody asks him who is going to change the world, or the motto Handong, and when he says, he can confidently say, then are the ISU members, the current members or the OBs, for example. I think it always hits me. It always makes me realize how that I'm in such a blessed position, blessed place. So it also makes me, it ignites something in me that just wants to keep going, keep pushing through, and give my best whenever I'm doing the work, and maybe all the workload, but also within the members in my department, within the members of whole ISU, just makes me want to just do my best, not give up. And also just this talk show, in general, it was very nice to see how everyone thinks and how their experiences and how and their visions and their thoughts have brought them here in one place. And also I am very I give thanks to God for allowing this place, and also it's a blessing for me to be able to work with such executives, and as well as Professor Lincoln, to have him as advisor. And it was also because we don't really get to talk about this kind of things often, so it was very nice. I mean, besides being hungry, it was a very blessing to be here.
So the thing that came up to my mind was the part of the verse where it says, "Seek and you will find," and that's a promise made by God. So I think going into ISU, if you're curious about ISU, like the way I was in the beginning, and thought that, oh, like you have your own agendas and you have your own idea of, okay, if I go into ISU, maybe I can accomplish this because ISU is about bridging gaps, or this is what I've seen ISU do. I've seen ISU do Festival of Nations, and I kind of want to be part of that. And even if you're just out of, like curiosity, want to know more about ISU, something nice is seek and you will find. And for me, just on my like personal journey as well, I came into ISU wanting to do something big and do something fun, and and I got to do all of that, just not in the way that I expected it, but I got to find out a lot about myself, the people around me, more of how the world works, why different cultures matter, and just how I can grow in this environment that I'm in. And I went through all of that with God and with the people that are around me. And I'm so happy that I got to share it with the people, like just now. And, Professor Lincoln, he's been with us from the very beginning. So having that, knowing that is really precious to me personally. Because we know that someone is there for us, and although he's not always there in like the executive decision making, he's always there to support, and it's a big thing that we rely on, as me especially as the president. And with our executive members as well, with our Vice President Huslin, with our members Loyal and Tomo that you got to saw, but also there's Hyun and Dristy, which are other department leaders. I'm just really, really blessed and really happy to share all of this and go on this interesting journey with everyone. For anyone who's interested in ISU, just come to our office and find out more about us. We're always welcoming you guys.
Thank you so much.
Can I say something more?
Yeah, like officially?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
What? Bye? What are you doing?